Chimpanzee, the wild genius of the jungle. The dense jungles of Central and West Africa hold many secrets, but perhaps none more fascinating than the chimpanzee. These incredible primates, our closest living relatives, share around 98.7% of our DNA. And yet, despite that astonishing similarity, they remain enigmas of the wild world. Chimpanzees are like distorted reflections of ourselves, intelligent, social, emotional, and occasionally shockingly violent. They laugh. They grieve. They make tools. They fight wars. They raise their young. They solve problems. But they also display brutal behavior that reminds us nature doesn't care about moral standards. To understand a chimpanzee is to look into the past and perhaps see the building blocks of what eventually became human civilization. Their culture, communication, and cognition continue to amaze researchers and wildlife enthusiasts alike. Let's dive deep into the world of chimpanzees. A world teeming with jungle drama, family bonds, territorial tension, tool-making genius, and expressions of joy and sorrow that feel eerily familiar. The face of the forest. At first glance, a chimpanzee doesn't seem so different from us. A mature chimpanzee has long, powerful arms, a broad face, and expressive eyes that seem to understand more than they let on. Their hands, feet, faces, and ears remain uncovered by coarse black or dark brown hair. Their hands can grasp, hold, and manipulate objects with remarkable precision. Watch a chimpanzee use a stick to fish for termites, and it's hard not to be amazed at the dexterity and patience they show. Adult males can weigh between 90 to 130 pounds and stand up to 5.5 feet tall when erect, though they usually move on all fours using a method called knuckle walking. Females are smaller and more slender but no less formidable in intellect and will. What really separates chimpanzees from most animals is their eyes. There's a depth in them, a sense of internal dialogue, of emotion bubbling under the surface. It's why staring into a chimpanzee's gaze can feel like you're being understood on a level words can't reach. Family comes first. Chimpanzees live in communities called fission fusion societies, where groups frequently split into smaller parties and then come back together. With shifting alliances, close friendships, and fierce rivalries, these communities can have as many as 100 members. At the center of it all is the alpha male, the top dog, or rather, the top ape. He earns his status not just through brute strength but also by forging social bonds. Grooming plays a big role here. It's not just hygiene, it's political. Who grooms who, and how often, reveals who's in favor, who's rising, and who might soon be overthrown. Females often form lifelong bonds with their offspring. A chimpanzee mother nurses her infant for years, carries them on her back, teaches them how to use tools, and fiercely protects them. Even after weaning, young chimps stay close to mom. It's not uncommon to see a teenage chimp returning to nest near her, snuggling in the treetops during the cool African nights. The language of the jungle. Chimpanzees don't speak, at least not in the way we do, but they're far from silent. Their communication is a blend of hoots, screams, grunts, gestures, and facial expressions. A high-pitched pant hoot can echo through the forest, alerting others to a food source or announcing one's presence. When danger is near, the warning screams of a chimpanzee can trigger a chain reaction. An entire forest erupting in chaos as others take to the trees, clutching their infants and looking for escape. Beyond sounds, chimps use subtle gestures and body language. A submissive crouch, extended hand, or raised arm can all convey a lot. One of the most touching gestures is a simple hug, often exchanged between friends or family after a long absence or tense confrontation. Over 60 distinct wild chimpanzee gestures with distinct meanings have been documented by researchers. From asking for help to initiating play, chimps navigate their social world with a complex, dynamic form of communication. Tools of the trade. Perhaps the most famous aspect of chimpanzee behavior is their tool use. For decades, scientists believed toolmaking was exclusive to humans. That illusion was shattered when Jane Goodall observed wild chimpanzees using sticks to fish termites out of their mounds. That was just the beginning. Chimpanzees use rocks to crack open nuts, leaves to soak up water like sponges, branches to swat away bees, and sharpened sticks to hunt small primates. Tool use varies between different chimpanzee communities, suggesting that these behaviors are culturally transmitted, not just instinctual. Imagine a chimpanzee sitting beside a nut with a heavy rock in hand. It places the nut on a stone anvil, raises the rock, and smashes down with perfect precision. The nut cracks open, revealing the tasty meat inside. Now imagine a juvenile sitting nearby, watching closely, trying to imitate the adult. That's how culture spreads in chimpanzee society, through observation, mimicry, and practice. Love, laughter, and loss. Chimps aren't robots, they feel. Observers have seen chimpanzees mourn the death of loved ones, refusing to leave the body for hours, even days. Mothers have been known to carry the corpses of their infants long after death, seemingly unable to let go. They also express joy. During play or when tickled, chimps laugh pantingly. They dance during heavy rains, slapping puddles. In some communities, bands of males patrol the borders of their territory, looking for signs of intruders. If they encounter an outsider, especially a lone male, they may attack with terrifying coordination. These raids can be brutal, ending in death and even cannibalism. Such violence isn't constant, but it's part of chimpanzee life. Power struggles within the group can also turn deadly. Alpha males may be deposed and killed by ambitious rivals. Infants can be the target of infanticide, particularly by males hoping to mate with the mother sooner. It's uncomfortable, but it's real. Chimps are not Disney characters. They are wild, complex, and shaped by the unforgiving laws of nature. A vanishing world. Chimpanzees once roamed across much of sub-Saharan Africa, but today they are endangered. Habitat destruction, poaching, disease, and the illegal pet trade have decimated populations. Logging, mining, and agricultural expansion are tearing apart the forests they call home. As humans, chimps seem to possess an inner world. They plan, remember, imagine, and perhaps even dream. When we talk about chimpanzees, we're not just talking about animals, we're talking about fellow beings on the evolutionary journey. Beings with families, emotions, fears, ambitions, and memories. The human connection. The genetic closeness between humans and chimpanzees is staggering. We didn't evolve from chimps, but we do share a common ancestor that lived about 6 to 7 million years ago. Since then, both our species have taken different paths, but some traits remain strikingly similar. From tool use to social bonds, from laughter to mourning, the echoes of our shared history reverberate in the jungle. Studying chimpanzees doesn't just teach us about them, it teaches us about ourselves. Our origins. Now I explain. You won't believe this animal shares 98% of your DNA. Chimpanzees aren't just animals you see in zoos or documentaries, they're living proof that humans aren't the only intelligent species on this planet. They are brilliant, emotional, strategic, and occasionally shockingly violent. In short, they're wild geniuses.